What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to be going through my gallery on the RTG and just talking about the last month, how things have been during that tricky Christmas period, and talking about my upcoming game weeks and the plans for my gallery. As always, guys, before we get into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. There's still about 90% of you viewers out there who aren't subbed to the channel. So if you can please sub, that will really help out the channel moving forwards. And let's get into the video. Okay, guys, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a little while since we've had a gallery update, so I thought this is the perfect time to actually do that. I know obviously we've got the update from Nicholas and the Sorare team hopefully coming in the next week to 10 days. Which will probably shape my gallery moving forwards. But yeah, let's talk about the last month or so. So we've gone back to game week 435 to start with. That was the 22nd to the 26th of December. And yeah, we've only really had our limited Saints collection recently. In this week, we finished 414th on 365.65 points, which is quite nice. And yeah, Saints got a 1-0 win against QPR. This was a little bit of a disappointing week just because I obviously picked the wrong captain here. Walker Peters only scoring 40.8. And then obviously Harwood Bellis scored 107. And Adam Armstrong got the assist there. So that was a little bit disappointing. We also did have a few players here in this cap 270 with David Marshall, who obviously didn't play. I believe the game was called off due to snow. But we did have here Ward-Prowse, Armstrong and Onuachu, who did score better than Flynn Downs. So we could have moved one of these guys up into here, which would have helped us to actually move up into that tier 2. But yeah, overall, we won a tier 3, which is not too bad. And that's just some more money, which this Saints collection has yielded for me. And then moving on to game week 436. This was another successful week for the Saints collection. We finished 279th on 378.87 points in a 5-0 win against Swansea. The only real sort of downside here is that on a 5-0 win, these are probably the game weeks where I need to try and hit those, top 10s and podiums. Unfortunately, we got some nice scores here, but Harwood Bellis and Flynn Downs just didn't really give us enough. We were only, how many points off will be like the top 10? So about 85, which is still quite a big jump. And we would have probably needed a couple of 100 scores. But still, when your team wins 5-0, you probably expect a little bit better than a tier 3, which is my only real sort of negative point on this game week. We did also manage to hit threshold in cap 240 with some decent scores there, especially from Ward-Prowse and Che Adams. And perhaps the downside here is that I'm trying to fill out two different teams rather than just putting all of my best players into All-Star here. I could have, for instance, moved Ward-Prowse up and played him in here, and then maybe played Che Adams as well. It's all obviously if, buts, and maybes. But yeah, I think moving forward, one of the things I need to work on is just making sure that I've got one strong lineup first, and then just basically using the spare parts to fill up everywhere else, rather than splitting my best lineup over 2-3 different teams. And the streak continued in game week 437. We've actually moved up every single game week in terms of the score and obviously where we finished as well. This game week we finished 99th in All-Star Limited with 420 points. And this was probably one of my best game weeks in terms of picking the right team as well. The only downside here is that the goalie made a stupid error. If you hadn't already seen it, basically the ball gets passed back to him. He goes to try and take it round the forward nabs it off him and basically taps it into an empty net. So yeah, that basically killed his score there. And then obviously we lost more points on Walker Peters and Harwood Bellis. If he would have kept that clean sheet, I worked out it was about 62 points that I lost, which would have put us in the top 10, probably 4th or 5th. Which obviously would have been a star and then £26 in ETH as well, which is a little bit frustrating. We did also do quite well in cap 220 using Edison here against Sheffield, and then some nice scores here from the Saints boys and a goal from Che Adams again. So yeah, we won a tier 4 there and a tier 2 and then £7 in ETH, which overall is nice. But yeah, if we didn't have that error, it would have been a huge game week. And yeah, that's a little bit frustrating. There's not really much I can do now about it. And then the next game week, which we had, was game week 441. And then once again, we have actually scored better and finished higher up, 454.1 points. So gradually we are moving up, and hopefully that trend continues moving forwards. We won a tier 2 here once again and £7 in ETH. Overall, another good score in a 4-0 win against Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously, Saints are now 21 games unbeaten, I think it is. There's been lots of nice scores which have coincided with winning some nice prizes. But yeah, once again, Harbour Bellis and Flynn Downs just a little bit under par compared to the others. We picked the perfect captain. Adam Armstrong did well. We just missed out by a little bit again. If we have a look, in terms of podium, it was 75 points. So yeah, these guys would need to be around that 100 mark, which is a little bit frustrating. Did we have anyone else that scored better? Sekou Mara scored a little bit better, as did Stuart Armstrong, as did Che. So we would have gained probably like 30-40 points if we picked the perfect Saints lineup, which would have got us still into the top sort of 20 with a star and then £35 in ETH. So yeah, another close call. But the good thing is that our lineups are obviously trending in the right direction. We're scoring better every week. We're getting better at actually picking those lineups. And yeah, hopefully if this trend continues and Saints continue on a really good run, we can finally get our first podium on the account. And our final game week since our last video is game week 443, which has happened fairly recently, in which we won a tier 4 and £3.92 in terms of ETH. Now, obviously, we didn't keep up that trend of our scores increasing, but hopefully overall we can do that. But yeah, we did carry on that streak, of winning something in like the last 5-6 game weeks, which is great. We actually hit that in a 4-man 240, which is quite fortunate. We got 3 crazy scores here from Flynn Downs, Stuart Armstrong, and Che Adams in that 3-1 win against Swansea. It's just a shame we didn't get these sort of scores in other weeks from Flynn Downs. But yeah, that was quite nice hitting a 4-man. We had an all-star team which just didn't actually hit. Harbour Bellis came off after like 50 minutes as he was booked. Adam Armstrong, I believe, we can check, had 2 big chances missed. Yeah, which is 35 points down the drain. And then we did obviously concede against Swansea. I wouldn't say it was an error, but just quite a poor goal. Unfortunately, couldn't keep that clean sheet. But yeah, overall, we do keep that streak continuing. And yeah, just another successful game week, really. We've managed to yield a decent chunk back from the overall collection cost. I believe we're around about a third of the total cost now paid off, which is great. And yeah, these scores really do show the value of having all of those players. The bonuses that players get with the collection bonus is just crazy, especially in those cap modes. And then in terms of the upcoming game week, we have our first rare lineup in quite a long time. It's going to be a 4-man cap 240 team. We don't have a goalkeeper yet until, I believe, the second week of February when the Austrian League comes back. So yeah, a 4-man team with Robin Knock at home against Darmstadt, Sven Koombs at home against Westerlo, Harriman's at home to RWDM. I think that's what it is. RWDM. And then Pansel at home to St. Truden. Pansel may or may not start. He's only just come back from AFCON. He is, I believe, about 60% to start on Play Sharper, 97% start on Sorare Data. Hopefully he can start. If he does, I think we've got a decent chance of actually hitting it here. We've got a decent captain bonus in Harriman's, and some decent matchups, 2 double A's, an A and a B. So yeah, hopefully we can score 280 to get that £50 or $50, I should say. And yeah, hit our first threshold in a while. We'll get all of our rares back. I believe it's game week 448 or 449. Just check that game week there. 448. I think it is this game week. I know it's the start of February because I've been basically counting down the game weeks. Yeah, it must be game week 449. Or maybe I'm completely wrong. Yes, we get our goalie back here in game week 449, which is the start of us actually getting back all of those rare players. And now, obviously, we do have that upcoming update from Sorare, which seems like it's going to be a big one. Obviously, there's been lots of talk about thresholds and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, for me, I've got about £200 roughly in ETH sat there waiting. And that's going to be basically spent based on what I see from Sorare. If they make some changes to certain divs, for instance, if they make kickoff modes better, if they get rid of thresholds, whatever they do, I've got a little bit of ETH there so that I can react quickly and then purchase some players. And I think that's really going to shape my gallery moving forwards. So yeah, it's really down to Nicholas and the team. And that is going to be all for today's video, guys. Please make sure, as always, to like and subscribe. And if you've got any questions about anything that I mentioned in this video, please let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.